Hi everyone, hope you're doing really good. Been very busy lately. I was tied up with this festival in Southport and that meant committing to a 2-week schedule. But I'm back now and I can fit the festival filming around my religious studies. Now, I've not been keeping abreast of the ex-community. Really, it's just because if I was to do that, that would just be one distraction which I just can't afford to have when I'm setting up and filming bands. So I left it. But I understand that people are getting quite excited about possibly the governing body being put on the stand. Well, I don't share the excitement. I mean, surely this attack may not be a physical attack on the seed, God's woman of Genesis 3:15, the seed class, and if the anointed are that seed, it may just be a legal attack. That legal attack could be tantamount to poking Jehovah in the eye. That's if God has given his authority to that governing body. Let's just say he has, and he most definitely is favouring that particular seed class. Then you're not going to accomplish anything other than fulfill Bible prophecy. You're already fulfilling Bible prophecy because it's the amount of apostasy that takes place before the end. I would say that this is on a huge global scale now, the apostasy. And then there's other things to consider. Not just the apostasy, the political climate that we're in, the fact that there are people trying to save this earth, the Brazilian fires, man's stupidity and his unquestionable desire to run from one disaster to the next. Why do we need God's kingdom? Why, since a 4-year-old boy, have I been learning about things that are now taking place? Does this not galvanize my initial thoughts that there is only one true religion and there can only be one true religion that prospers? For everything that this religion has said and for the things that they've said and got wrong, they've also got a lot right. And more importantly, if we are right on that first run of the Great Tribulation, then why would the leaders of that religion be fearful? If this is something that they've known about, just like me, for 50 years, why would they be fearful if they believed at the point in which the tribulation starts, they were taken off the earth because they're part of that seed class, and so they'll be snatched, and that will virtually just leave the great crowd on their own, won't it? For a short time, until Jesus gathers his army to do that final battle at Armageddon. But before that, there's an awful lot that needs to take place. The removing of all religion, which I am particularly looking forward to. I will be rubbing my hands together when the United Nations finally grows some balls and decides that all religion needs to go. Having said that, it is Jehovah that's apparently going to push them into action. They probably, if left to their own devices, wouldn't do anything about it. But Jehovah has decided at some point he needs to reveal the cards and who he's been backing all this time. But there's so many interesting things that need to happen. I just want to enlarge this a bit. This is something I looked at quite some time ago. It's a twofold application, isn't it? What happened in Roman times when you see the armies encamped and then there was that time period, wasn't there? An unknown time period, interval. And then after that, the Romans came back, didn't they? And finished the job. And it's this twofold paradoxical application that interests me. Where are we in this stream of time right now? Well, one thing we do know is the tribulation will be cut short. Now, I just think, this is just my opinion about the tribulation, I think it would be only fair if it was cut short after 3.5 years. After all, Jesus' earthly ministry was cut short after 3.5 years. I think it would be nice to have the tribulation cut short as a mirror reflection of that. That's just the way I feel. Probably won't. I think if it was left to its own devices, it could go on for 7 years. But then again, we're just guessing. We don't know. You know, it clearly says here, doesn't it, unknown length before Armageddon. But the other things that need to happen, the sign in the sun, moon and stars, a physical sign in the sun, moon and stars, to the point where great people of the world will be in fear. They'll be in great trepidation, and they will beat themselves into lamentation at that point as well. They will suddenly realize not only does God exist, but God has a special group of people who he favors. And that's not a time in which I'm looking forward to. Even though I am most definitely a creationist, and I definitely believe that only one true religion will prosper and then go from this system to the next, I still don't see any other religion, in my eyes, that's got the jump on the Jehovah's Witnesses for that particular claim. A lot of people at the moment are going hell for leather and probably going to get quite excited if that governing body is put on the stand and they understand that the Jehovah's Witnesses have taken some kind of can I say this word right? Preparatory action, where they've removed signatories from the governing body of certain papers and ownerships and things like that, and probably put them in the name of, you know, the next down in line or something like that. It's just a divisory tactic sometimes, isn't it? How you see people that have owned companies in the past and they've put things in their wife's name, haven't they? Well, I think it'd be a similar thing, that the Jehovah's governing body will have probably got these other signatories and put everything in their name. But why would they want it in their name if they're the remnant and they'll be snatched off the earth? It makes perfect sense to offload that responsibility now. So I don't get excited with everybody else and think, oh, look at this, Watchtower's coming down. I don't think Watchtower is coming down. You're not going to get to poke Jehovah in the eye. And let's face it, you really can't prove whether Jehovah is favouring the Jehovah's Witnesses at this time. You know, is that two-horse race still that I keep going on about? We won't know the victor until we get into that final straight. But you can't poke Jehovah in the eye and not expect an immediate reaction. And I would like to wrap this up by saying that it may not be a physical attack, what they've been expecting, that it may be a legal attack, and it's still an attack of a kind, and it would still merit a response from the one who has given sanctity to this special group of people, whoever they turn out to be, whether it is them, but it would still merit a significant action from God if he is using this seed class at the moment. And this brings me all the way back again to Genesis 3:15 and that reply to Satan, where he says he will put enmity between the woman, God's heavenly organization, and the seed class of that woman. And the seed class of that woman are on the earth today. And Raymond France was a member of that seed class, but no longer is. And he's since passed away. But before he passed away, he left that seed class, didn't he? And that brings me to the point where I need to confess that I've read The Crisis of Conscience for a second time and may have to read it again. And I'll tell you why I need to read it again. Because right at the end, Raymond is asking to be shown if he's gone wrong. He is making a plea to everybody out there. Show me where I might have got this wrong. Was I being presumptuous? Have I jumped ahead of Jehovah's authority? And the quick answer is yes. We all have jumped ahead of Jehovah's authority if we are not on that pathway that he is blessing. He's not blessing every apostate pathway. That is impossible. You can't be. Like I say, there is a lot happening in the world. Certainly, I'm more than concerned, and I get more and more concerned every day, because certainly we are another day closer to the Great Tribulation. There's just no two ways about it. This world is particularly wicked. I would say that it mirror reflects Noah's time. London, many people are moving out of London. The violence in most of the major cities is a mirror reflection of how bad things will get, just like in the days of Noah. Yes, and people will still be marrying and being given in marriage, and people will be going about their normal duties. But if you look below the surface at this world now, is the earth dying? Yes. Is it on a pathway to destruction? Will it self-address itself? Will it self-repair? The answer is no. It will not self-repair. Glaciers will not refreeze themselves once they've melted. Should we be now thinking that, have we not been told about this 50 years ago, that this is exactly how the last days would be? That people would be ruining the earth, that the violence would be on an unprecedented level, that children would have no natural affection for their parents. And yet we know all this from our studies. Should we be fearful? Yes, I think we should be very fearful. Will we be giving a final chance? Well, quite possibly. Yes, quite possibly. There'll be a separating and a decision to make. Will we need to look forward to the Jehovah's Witnesses giving this new message out? Will we be scared when we hear this new message? Again, quite possibly we will be. But there's nothing we can do about it, because it is going to happen. And that's it's my final thoughts, and I've got a sore throat for all the shouting that I've done at the festival, all the screaming during some of the live broadcasting. But it was all worth it. And I haven't given up just yet on this journey. But I do recognise that time is getting much shorter now. I just don't know how long we've got left now. It just feels as if at any moment the economies will collapse, and that it's the first run of the Great Tribulation, and the anointed snatched off the earth. I mean, here's a scenario for you. So the lawyers in the United States decided to go after the governing body. Imagine getting them on the stand, and on the day in which they're supposed to give some kind of evidence, they're snatched right off the earth, right under the noses and right under the eyes of all those onlookers, and they're just snatched there and then. How would you feel? Would you feel as if I think I got this one wrong. I think I might have been wrong here. They were that special group of people that God had give sanctity to. Well, I just want to leave with that thought. It is something to think about and come back with an answer if you want. All right. Goodbye. See you again.